Hello, my name's Tim Ireland. I'm an investigative blogger. I like to get to the bottom of things, which means that I meet a lot of assholes. Hi, my name's Tim Ireland. I've been writing about and campaigning against corruption in politics and the media for over a decade now. And one of the main things I've learned in that time is that corruption thrives in the face of apathy. Humans are selfish creatures and we're social creatures, and between these two elements of our shared psychology lies the secret of corruption. If we can commit a selfish act that doesn't cost us our position in a social group, we'll probably do it. We're likely to repeat it. And others who watch us getting away with it will be more inclined to try it themselves. So if you're looking at the extent of corruption in politics today, and you're wondering why you should bother voting, there's your reason. There's no mechanism for removing a corrupt MP other than at the ballot box, and while this itself should change, for now you need to exercise the power that you do have. Let me give you a few examples to show you why you should use your vote and how you can use it to best effect in this upcoming election. We're going to start with this candidate, who also happens to be Prime Minister. This candidate was informed that fundraising executives for this candidate were using anonymous web accounts to smear critics as paedophiles and child rapists, which was very brave of them. This candidate passed responsibility on to this candidate, who did nothing. This candidate later admitted privately that this was because an election was in progress. He thought exposing corruption in his own party would cost them votes. Diddums. This candidate knows all about this by now, but still doesn't think it's anything his party should be concerned about. They've gotten away with it so far. Why should they change anything? Innocent people have been smeared as child rapists for doing no more than daring to criticise a Conservative. And nothing of consequence has happened as a result. Over recent years, an anonymous Twitter account was used to abuse and bully critics of Conservative education policy. It compared one respected education correspondent to Walter Mitty, it suggested he was a stalker, and at the same time made completely unnecessary comments about his personal life, and this is just one example. This shocking behaviour was linked to this candidate and his staff, but nothing of consequence has happened as a result. Notice the particular brand of corruption you're witnessing here. It arises from a collision between new technology and a peculiar reaction to scrutiny and criticism that Tories are notorious for. That itself stems from a sense of entitlement that's usually off the scale. On that note, locally we've got this candidate, who's sometimes described as a poster child for corruption, but that's not wholly accurate. Her antics can be so outlandish, she's actually more of a cartoon mascot. I'm not at liberty to share the detail of her recent behaviour, more's the pity, but happily this candidate has provided us with a stellar example. Grant Shapps has lied outright to the electorate. He's even bullied a constituent into publishing those lies on their Facebook page. And he's not some reckless backbencher, but chairman of the Conservative Party. You've probably heard about the allegations that he used an anonymous account to edit his own Wikipedia page and target his enemies inside and outside of the party. Shapps has reacted by implying that the evidence was the result of a criminal conspiracy to discredit him. Similar shenanigans went on in a by-election way back in 2007. And then Shapps reacted by implying that the evidence was the result of a criminal conspiracy to discredit him. He can't provide any evidence to back up these allegations, but he has no answer to the evidence that demonstrates that he bullied a constituent into accepting a lie, and nothing of consequence has happened as a result. Shapps has not been suspended from the party, far from it. He remains in place as its chairman. This is where we come down to your vote and how you should use it. The Tory party is at present a corrupt institution with a weak leader. It doesn't matter if the local Tory candidate is one of the good ones in your eyes. If they can't show you a clear statement calling for the resignation of their chairman, or at the very least an investigation into his conduct, then they're not worth your vote. All of this corruption will continue to grow worse for as long as there are no consequences. You need to become those consequences. On May the 7th, you need to exercise your right to vote, and you need to get out there and vote like you mean it. To paraphrase John Carpenter, you need to swagger into that polling station and say, I am here to fight corruption and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum. The Tories have been squeezing you and lying to you throughout their time in coalition. They've learned nothing from their years in the wilderness, and they need to be reminded who's really in charge here. Even if you're only denting someone's seemingly unassailable majority in the face of widespread ignorance, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. You don't give up when faced with an ineffable force. When faced with an ineffable force, you look it in the eye and work out a way to F it. On that note, you should be using your vote according to principle and not party. You should be choosing the vote that's most likely to give the Tories the kicking they deserve in order to stem this tide of corruption. Otherwise, nothing of consequence will happen as a result.
Spoken by Tim Ireland and authorised by Tim Ireland on behalf of the campaign to elect Tim Ireland.